again would not amount to real production of anything. 13. An entity does not arise from itself. It is not arisen from another. It is not arisen from itself and another. How can it be arisen? This verse simply recapitulates the argument of chapter 1 in the service of the conclusion that arising cannot be conceived of as an independent phenomenon. Nagarjuna now draws more general conclusions regarding the implication of the view that existence amounts to inherent existence for the extreme positions. He develops in the next two verses a nice reductio ad absurdum.
14. If one accepts the existence of entities, permanence and the view of complete non-existence follow. For these entities must be both permanent and impermanent. If one thinks that any existent entity must exist inherently, then one is forced simultaneously to embrace the extremes of nihilism and reification. One must reify because any existent must be treated as inherently existent and hence permanent. But upon observing the impermanence of phenomena, one will be driven to nihilism since their impermanence would entail their lack of inherent existence and hence their complete non-existence. An opponent, however, can be imagined to reply as follows. 15. If one accepts the existence of entities, non-existence and permanence will not follow. Cyclic existence is the continuous becoming and destruction of causes and effects. If Nagarjuna is correct, this objection goes, there is a constant becoming and destruction of causally related phenomena. This, after all, is the heart of the Madhyamika analysis of phenomenal reality. But if that is so, these phenomena that are becoming and being destroyed must exist. Otherwise, what comes into and passes out of existence? It is these entities, this opponent argues, that we must posit. And from positing such entities, neither their complete non-existence nor their permanence follows. For they are by definition impermanently existent. Nagarjuna replies in the next verse.
16. If cyclic existence is the continuous becoming and destruction of causes and effects, then from the non-arising of the destroyed follows the non-existence of cause. Given the pervasiveness of dependent arising, the impermanence of all causes and effects, and the emptiness of the relation of dependence itself, causes and effects themselves must be regarded as non-inherently existent. For the person who equates existence with inherent existence, this forces the denial of the very becoming and destruction he has posited as the only inherently existent phenomena. The point against the objection asserted in the previous verse is this: the very fact that constant becoming and destruction characterizes reality entails that at no point can anything be identified as an entity in the robust sense, a thing with a nature that persists over time. The very phenomena the opponent wants to posit as existent in order to make sense of the series of becoming and destruction are, when that series is taken seriously, themselves non-existent. But the kind of full existence the opponent feels compelled to posit is in any case not only impossible given this situation, but unnecessary as well. Nagarjuna now turns to the soteriological implications of this view of becoming, destruction, and entityhood.
17. If entities exist with entityhood, then their non-existence would make no sense. But at the time of nirvana, cyclic existence ceases completely, having been pacified. If we thought that anything had inherent existence, whether entities, processes, or arising, and its determinants that could not possibly cease in nirvana. So this view would render Buddhist soteriology incoherent, and is therefore, since it purports to be a view of the nature of cyclic existence by contrast with nirvana, untenable. The next three verses sum up the results of this investigation regarding the possibility of conceiving of empirical reality as consisting of a series of momentary phenomena, each one of which gives rise to the next through an inherently real nexus of destruction and becoming. The structure of the argument is by now familiar. 18. If the final one has ceased, the existence of a first one makes no sense. If the final one has not ceased, the existence of a first one makes no sense. If the momentary phenomenon prior to a present momentary phenomenon has ceased prior to the arising of the present one, there is no basis for that arising. But if it has not ceased, then its destruction cannot be an occasion for the arising of the subsequent event. So the prior momentary phenomenon can neither have ceased nor not ceased.
19. If when the final one was ceasing, then the first was arising. The one ceasing would be one. The one arising would be another. That is, if we say that the cessation of the previous momentary phenomenon is simultaneous with the arising of its successor, then being simultaneous but distinct, the two phenomena are separable and hence independent. If so, there is no basis for positing any connection between them. This is yet another application of the principle of the independence of separable phenomena. 20. If, absurdly, the one arising and the one ceasing were the same, then whoever is dying with the aggregates is also arising. Finally, we don't want to identify arising and ceasing, claiming that they are the same phenomenon, since they are by definition contraries. It would be tantamount, Nagarjuna claims, to saying that a person who is dying is simultaneously being born. From the standpoint of one who wants to posit arising and destruction as the two complementary inherently existent bases of cyclic existence, it would hardly do to say that they are one and the same thing.
21. Since the series of cyclic existence is not evident in the three times. If it is not in the three times, how could there be a series of cyclic existence? And finally, if we cannot conceive of the domain of conventional phenomena as inherently existent in time, there is no sense in suggesting that it has some kind of trans-temporal existence. The object of analysis here is the conventional world we inhabit. So, Nagarjuna concludes, we cannot, upon analysis, resolve the domain of conventional phenomena into a series of constantly arising, constantly ceasing, yet individually inherently existent momentary phenomena, connected to one another and characterized by inherently real arising and ceasing. As this target ontology was among the subtlest of the Premadhyamika views of the nature of reality, dependent arising, and impermanence, and is indeed not by any means a relic within Theravada Buddhism, and as it represents a plausible interpretation of fundamental Buddhist tenets, this refutation is an appropriate close to the portion of the text concerned directly with the analysis of the fundamental structure of conventional reality. With this in hand, Nagarjuna turns in the final 6 chapters to topics concerned with the nature of ultimate reality, Buddhahood, prominent incorrect views about the ultimate, the Four Noble Truths and emptiness, nirvana, and the 12 limbs of dependent origination.